The awakening of the new Earth.
For the decade, I viewed the world through a windshield, witnessing the old Earth extraction machine. We have lived as biological batteries for a system that feeds on our stress and debt. Humanity has been living in a system built to function as a battery. It feeds on our stress, our debt, and our divided attention. We trade our lives to pay for a world we're too tired to enjoy, hauling a debt cargo engineered over a century ago to keep us on a leash. As we look at the software humanity is running on, it's clear the program is broken. The secret the controllers hide? The loop only exists as long as you keep driving in it. To be free, we don't fight the old system, we withdraw our energy from it. We are moving from a warfare civilization to the awakening of the new Earth. Will spend our days in the forest, by the lake, and in our workshops. We will learn for the sake of wisdom and travel for the sake of connection. The big surprise is that it was always supposed to be this easy. In this book, I will demonstrate how the old world system was mathematically designed to collapse, and I will reveal the hidden exit door available to every human being. Together, we will explore exactly what the new Earth looks like, a future defined by total autonomy, free energy, and the restoration of human dignity. The crash is a graduation. The old structures are dissolving because they can no longer hold the weight of our expanding consciousness. When enough of us say yes to love and no to the struggle, the world will change in the blink of an eye. In my book, I show you how to trigger the internal software update. It starts in the stillness. When you move from consumer to creator, the gears of the old world lose their grip. We are reclaiming our power and building the new Earth. The technology is verified. The blueprints are ready. Welcome to the awakening of the new Earth. The Sovereign Blueprint. Chapter 1. The Biomechanical Reset. For most of human history, we have existed within a dream that wasn't ours. We wake up to digital alarms, trade our finite life force for digital credits, and haul a load of debt engineered before we were even born. If you feel a physical allergy to this routine, you aren't broken. You are witnessing a system failure. Humanity is rejecting a frequency that treats people like a battery. You aren't depressed, you are waking up. The mechanics of the loop. The old Earth is a closed-loop system designed to extract human energy. The fact. In 1910, at the Jekyll Island meeting, the global banking system was designed as a debt leash. Money is created as a debt that carries interest, ensuring the debt always exceeds the money in circulation. It is a mathematical trap designed to keep humanity in a permanent state of survival. The frequency trap. This loop requires a state of survival mode, the beta brainwave state. When the mind is occupied by rent, inflation, or manufactured fear, the creative centers of the brain shut down. People stay manageable because they are too stressed to realize they are creators. The 2026 system crash. The systemic glitches of 2026, bank failures, and institutional instability are a frequency mismatch. The Earth is moving into a higher energetic field. The old software of greed and centralized control is incompatible with this new light. The system is vibrating apart because its code can no longer run on the planet's rising base frequency. 1. The mechanics of the loop. The debt leash. To understand why the system is crashing, you must see how it was built. The 1910 fact. At a secret meeting on Jekyll Island, the global banking structure was designed as a debt leash. The math. Because money is created as a loan that must be paid back with interest, there is always more debt in the world than there is actual money. The result. This forces humanity into a permanent race for survival. You are working hard not because you are lazy, but because the math is rigged to ensure you can never truly catch up. 2. The frequency trap. Why you feel tired. The old Earth requires you to stay in survival mode, the high beta brainwave state. The science. When you worry about rent or inflation, your brain's creative centers shut down. Blood flows away from your genius brain and into your fear brain. the control. Stressed people are easy to manage. When you are focused on the next paycheck, you don't have the energy to realize you are a creator with the power to change reality. 3. Why the 2026 crash is inevitable. The systemic glitches we see now, bank failures, inflation, and social instability, are not accidents. They are a frequency mismatch. The solar update. In 2026, the Earth is receiving massive bursts of solar energy and cosmic radiation. This is increasing the planet's Schumann resonance, the Earth's heartbeat. The conflict. The old software of greed, secrecy, and debt vibrates at a low, heavy frequency. The Earth's new frequency is high and light. The crash. You cannot run old, corrupted software on a brand new, high-speed computer. The old system is literally vibrating itself to pieces because it can no longer hold the charge of the new era. 4. The timeline, when the reset hits. We are currently in the loading phase. The big shifts follow the movement of the planets, specifically Uranus, the planet of revolution. April to June 2026. This is the primary trigger point. As Uranus moves deeper into Gemini, the information simulation breaks. This is when the digital banking ledgers face their divide by zero error. You will see massive institutional reboots during these months. What makes it happen? It isn't a single person, it is a chain reaction. As one major bank or institution fails to update its software, it creates a domino effect. People will suddenly realize the credits in their accounts don't match the resources on the ground. 5. How to apply this today. Easy steps for everyone. You don't need to be a scientist to survive the reset. You just need to change your user settings. A. Stop the feedback loop. When you hear news of a crash, do not panic. Panic is the fuel the old system uses to reboot itself. Stay neutral. B. Focus on tangible energy. The system is digital, the Earth is physical. Spend time touching the ground, growing a plant, or learning a physical skill. This earths your energy so you don't get fried by the digital glitches. C. Acknowledge the allergy. Next time you feel stressed about the grind, say to yourself, "This is a system failure, not my failure." This simple thought breaks the frequency trap immediately. The grand result, graduation. The crash is a graduation. We are leaving the classroom of suffering and debt and moving into the playground of abundance and magic. The system is falling so that you can finally stand up. Chapter 2. The Architecture of the Shadow. Who controlled the loop? For centuries, humanity has lived under a closed-loop system. It was not a series of accidents or bad luck. It was a carefully engineered structure of control. To understand how to be free, we must identify the pillars of this architecture. 1. The central banking monopoly, the debt anchor. The primary tool of global control is the debt-based monetary system. The fact. Most people believe central banks, like the Federal Reserve, are part of the government. They are not. They are private organizations owned by a network of powerful banking families, most notably the Rothschilds and Rockefeller dynasties. The proof. In 1910, a secret meeting took place at Jekyll Island. Powerful bankers, including representatives for J.P. Morgan and the Warburgs, drafted the plan for the Federal Reserve. It was designed to give private individuals the power to print a nation's money and charge that nation interest on it. The result. This created impossible debt. When a bank prints $100 but demands $105 back, with interest, the extra $5 does not exist in the system. Someone else must go into debt to create it. This is why the world can never pay off its debt. The system is mathematically designed to keep us as debt slaves forever. 2. The corporate hydra, BlackRock and Vanguard. If you look at the owners of almost every major corporation, from food and medicine to media and weapons, you will see the same names over and over. The fact. 2 investment firms, BlackRock and Vanguard, manage over $20 trillion in assets. They are the top shareholders in nearly every company on the S&P 500. The proof. Through their Aladdin software, an AI that monitors global markets, they influence the decisions of governments and CEOs alike. They don't just invest in the world. They dictate the social and corporate governance, ESG, that forces businesses to follow the old Earth agenda. The result: this creates a monopoly of reality. Whether you buy brand A or brand B, the profit goes to the same bucket at the top. 3. The military-industrial complex, the war program. War is not a failure of diplomacy. It is a highly profitable business model. The fact: on January 17, 1961, President Dwight D. Eisenhower gave a chilling farewell address. He warned the world to guard against the unwarranted influence of the military-industrial complex. The proof: Eisenhower, a five-star general, saw that the permanent armaments industry was becoming so powerful it could dictate government policy. It creates a shadow government that benefits from chaos. The result: trillions of dollars that could have been used for free energy, education, and food were instead diverted into defense budgets to fight forever wars. 4. Operation Mockingbird, the media filter. To keep the loop running, the people must believe they are free. This requires the control of information. The fact: in the 1950s, the CIA began Operation Mockingbird. The proof: the Church Committee in 1975 confirmed that the CIA had secret relationships with hundreds of journalists and media outlets to ensure that the news reflected the program's narrative. The result: this is why magic and free energy are called conspiracies on the news. The media's job was not to inform you, but to keep your frequency low, focused on fear, division, and celebrity gossip. 5. The Invention Secrecy Act, the tech suppression. Why don't we have the free energy Tesla promised? Because it was legally stolen. The fact: there is a law called the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951. The proof: under this law, the government can issue a secrecy order on any patent that is deemed a threat to national security. As of today, there are over 6,000 patents held in secrecy. The reality: many of these patents relate to cold fusion, zero-point energy, and water as fuel. They are suppressed because if energy was free, the controllers would lose their meter on humanity. These people and systems are not evil in the way we think. They are simply the cleanup crew of a dying frequency. They thrived in a world of darkness and separation. What happens to them? As we discussed, they cannot survive the update. When the light of truth, the internet mesh, and the frequency of harmony, the new earth, arrive, their loop loses its power. You can't control a man who doesn't need your money, your news, or your permission to exist. History of the Federal Reserve and the Secret Meeting. This video provides a deep historical look at the Jekyll Island meeting and how the central banking system was established to control global wealth. Chapter 3. The Internal System Crash. The Physics of Consciousness. The transition to a new Earth is not a political event. It is a biological and energetic software update. For millennia, humanity has operated on a survival-based a program rooted in the lack frequency. This chapter breaks down how to initiate the crash of that old program. The mechanism of scarcity versus abundance. The old Earth was built on the lie of scarcity. Banks, borders, and wars are all symptoms of a belief that there isn't enough to go around. The proof: look at the fractal nature of a single sunflower or an apple seed. A single seed contains the instructions for an infinite forest. Nature operates on a surplus model. To exit the old world, you must stop acting like a consumer and start vibrating as a source. When you practice the belief that nature provides, you shift your biology out of beta, stress, waves, and into alpha, creative, resonance. The law of resonance. You do not get what you want, you get what you are. If you are vibrating at the frequency of debt and hurry, the universe must provide more of that. To crash the system, you must achieve a state of stillness. In this deep meditation, you become neutral. From neutrality, you can anchor the high-frequency vibrations of the new Earth into the physical soil of your current life. The transition to a new Earth is not a political event or a protest in the streets. It is a biological and energetic software update. For millennia, humanity has been forced to run on a survival-based OS, a primitive program rooted in the lack frequency. To move forward, we must manually initiate a crash of that old program. 1. The mechanism of scarcity versus abundance. The old Earth was built on the mechanical lie of scarcity. Banks, interest rates, borders, and wars are all symptoms of a deep-seated belief that there isn't enough to go around. The proof of the surplus. Look at the fractal nature of life. A single sunflower produces hundreds of seeds. A single apple seed contains the mathematical instructions for an infinite forest. The reality. Nature operates on a surplus model. It doesn't count, it doesn't charge, and it doesn't hoard. The action. To exit the old world, you must stop acting like a consumer, someone who takes, and start vibrating as a source, someone who provides. When you believe and act as if nature provides, your biology shifts out of survival mode. 2. The law of resonance. You are the antenna. The universe does not respond to what you want, it responds to what you are. If your internal radio station is broadcasting "I am in debt" or "I am in a hurry," the physics of resonance dictates that the universe must provide more situations that match that frequency. The beta trap. Most people live in high beta brainwaves. This is the frequency of hurry, worry, and debt. It keeps your internal system locked, making it impossible to see the exit doors right in front of you. The alpha shift. When you move into alpha or theta resonance, you become creative and calm. You shift from being a victim of the simulation to being the programmer of your own reality. 3. How to apply this today. The System Crash Protocol. This is how you bring the power back to your own life starting today. It is simple, free, and works for everyone. Step A. Achieve neutrality. The stillness hack. The action. Sit in a chair for 15 minutes. Do not look at your phone. Do not plan your day. Just observe your breath. Why it works. By doing nothing, you are telling the old survival OS that there is no emergency. You are forcing the debt and hurry program to crash because it has no data to feed on. You become neutral. Step B. Anchor the new frequency. The action. While in that neutral state, feel the sensation of having enough. Don't think about it. Feel it in your chest. Why it works. Feeling is the language of the ether. When you feel full, you are anchoring the high-frequency vibrations of the new Earth into your physical body. You are downloading the new software. Step C. Act as a source. The action. Throughout your day, find one small way to be a source instead of a consumer. Give a genuine compliment, share a skill, or simply offer a calm presence to someone in a rush. Why it works. This proves to your subconscious mind that you are no longer a mule hauling for the system. You have moved into the surplus model. The result. The sovereign reset. When you crash the old program, the gravity of the old world loses its pull. You will notice that opportunities, people, and resources begin to find you without the grind. You have stopped chasing the world and started resonating with it. Chapter 4. The End of the Labor Loop. From Mules to Masters. We are witnessing the death of the time for money trap. For centuries, you moved goods from point A to point B. In the new Earth, we move energy. The biophysics of creation. In the old system, 90% of human energy is burned off as waste heat through stress and survival. The proof. When the human body is under stress, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of genius, shuts down, and the amygdala, the seat of fear, takes over. We have been a dimmed-down civilization. The result. When the requirement to earn a living is removed, humanity enters a flow state. Work stops being labor and becomes expression. An engineer builds a bridge not for a paycheck, but for the sheer geometric beauty and service of connection. The healing. 80 to 90% of modern disease is psychosomatic. It is trapped stress in the nervous system. By removing the stress of rent, bills, and work, the human body naturally resets its DNA to a state of perfect health. For generations, we have been trapped in the time for money loop. This is a system where you sell the most precious thing you have, your life force, in exchange for digital credits just to survive another month. In the new earth, we move from moving goods to moving energy. 1. The biophysics of creation, the dimmer switch. The old earth requires you to stay in a state of low-level panic. This is a biological dimmer switch that keeps your genius turned off. The science. When you worry about rent, bills, or making it through the work week, your body stays in survival mode. The proof. In this state, blood flow is diverted away from the prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic and creativity, and sent to the amygdala, the seat of fear/fight or flight. The result. We have been a dimmed-down civilization. You aren't tired because of your job. You are tired because your brain is stuck in an emergency loop that burns 90% of your energy as waste heat, stress. 2. The flow state, from labor to expression. In the new earth, the requirement to earn a living is removed. This allows humanity to enter a permanent flow state. The concept. Have you ever been so involved in a hobby, painting, fixing a car, or playing music, that hours felt like minutes? That is a flow state. The shift. When you don't have to work to eat, you work because you love to create. An engineer builds a bridge because they love the geometry and the service of connecting people. A driver moves people because they love the connection and the journey. The result. Work is no longer labor, which comes from the Latin word laborum, meaning toil or distress. It becomes expression. 3. The health reset, healing the psychosomatic body. Most of the world's sickness is not caused by viruses. It is caused by the survival frequency. The fact. Medical science estimates that 80 to 90% of modern disease is psychosomatic. This doesn't mean it's in your head. It means it is real physical damage caused by the mind being under constant stress. The healing. When you remove the stress of rent, debt, and the labor loop, the body's parasympathetic nervous system finally turns on. This is the rest and digest mode where the body naturally repairs its own DNA and resets to perfect health. 4. How to apply this today. Easy steps for everyone. You don't have to wait for the system to fall to start your master's training. You can begin shifting your biology right now. A. Identify your flow task. The step. Find one thing you do where you lose track of time. Do this for at least 15 minutes every day. Why? You are training your brain to move blood back into the prefrontal cortex. You are practicing being a master. B. The expression mindset. The step. Next time you perform a task at your current job, don't think I'm doing this for money. Think, I am expressing my skill in this moment. Why? This small mental shift reduces the waste heat of stress. It protects your DNA from the Mule frequency while you are still in the loop. C. Nervous system hygiene. The step. Before you start your day, take 5 deep breaths and tell your body, the survival threat is an illusion. I am safe. Why? This manually triggers your vagus nerve to shut off the survival OS and turn on the creative OS. The grand result. The genius civilization. When the billions of mules on this planet finally wake up as masters, we will solve every problem in a single generation. We will build, clean, and create not because we are forced to, but because it is who we are. The master doesn't work for the system. The master works for the joy of creation. Chapter 5. The Banking Collapse and the Debt Jubilee. The banking system is a closed loop designed to keep energy moving in one direction, upward. When trust vanishes, the system must reset. The Great Reset, the Jubilee logic. A bank collapse is simply the program running out of data. The proof. Ancient Babylon and Sumeria understood that debt eventually suffocates a population. Every few decades, they enacted a jubilee where all debt tablets were smashed. This wasn't mercy, it was economic common sense. The result. When the digital ledgers of 2026 fail, the debt doesn't transfer, it vanishes. Without the interest trap, humanity realizes that we already have enough resources to feed, clothe, and house everyone 10 times over. We move from digital ghost money to resource-based abundance. The current banking system is a closed loop, designed to keep human energy moving in only one direction: upward. We have been living in a game where the rules are rigged so that the house always wins. But when trust in the digital ledger vanishes, the game ends. This is not a crash. It is a reset to zero. 1. The Jubilee Logic, ancient wisdom for modern freedom. A bank collapse is simply the software of the old world running out of memory. It has happened before, and history shows us the way out. The fact: in ancient Babylon and Sumeria, leaders practiced Amnesia, the debt jubilee. They knew that if debt grew too high, the people would stop producing and the society would die. The proof: every few decades, they physically smashed the clay tablets that recorded who owed what. All slaves were freed, and all lands were returned. The result: this wasn't a gift, it was economic common sense. It cleared the static and allowed the civilization to breathe and create again. 2. The 2026 reality, when ghost money vanishes. Today, our money is fiat. It is digital ghost money with nothing backing it except the belief that it has value. The why: currently, there is more debt in the world than there is physical currency to pay it. It is a mathematical impossibility. The result: when the digital ledgers of 2026 fail due to this imbalance, the debt doesn't transfer to your children, it simply evaporates. If the bank's computer doesn't exist, your mortgage is just a piece of paper with no authority behind it. The shift: we move from scarcity, the fear that there isn't enough money, to resource-based abundance, the reality that there is plenty of food, wood, and sun. 3. How to apply this today. Easy steps for everyone. You do not need to wait for the banks to close to start your personal jubilee. You can start delinking your survival from their ledger today. The action: transition to tangibles. The step: don't keep all your energy, money, in a digital bank account where it can be frozen. Move what you can into real value: seeds, tools, bulk food, and skills. Why it works: if the power goes out, a digital balance is useless, but a bag of potatoes and a solar lantern are wealth that maintains its value. The action: the debt-freeze mindset. The step: stop stressing over numbers you can't pay. Realize that the debt anchor is a psychological trick. Prioritize your family's health and food over the bank's interest. Why it works: when you stop fearing the collection call, you withdraw your energy from the system. You are choosing your sovereign domain over their ghost ledger. The action: inventory of abundance. The step: look around your home and neighborhood. Make a list of what actually exists: trees, water, skilled neighbors. Why it works: you will realize that even if the banks vanish tonight, the earth is still here, and the resources are still available. We already have enough to house and feed everyone. The interest trap was just the curtain hiding the truth. The grand result: freedom from the interest trap. Without the requirement to earn digital credits just to exist, humanity enters a state of flow. We move from a world where we work to live to a world where we live to create. The big surprise is that once the digital chains are broken, we find that we were always living in a garden. Chapter 6: Sovereignty of Shelter and the Living Grid. The power lines and water pipes are the invisible leashes of the old world. To be free, we must become autonomous. Stewardship versus ownership. The concept of owning land while others starve is an old earth distortion. In the new earth, we are stewards. The empty space fact. In every major city, there are more empty, bank-owned buildings than there are homeless people. The crash releases this space. Ecologic building. We will move away from concrete and steel toward living structures. Using 3D printing with local clay, hempcrete, and earthships, we can build homes that regulate their own temperature, grow their own food, and recycle their own water. The decentralized utility revolution. The new Earth runs on a neighborhood grid. Every house collects its own power via small-scale magnetic generators and advanced solar skin technology. No bills, no meters, no control. The power lines and water pipes are the invisible leashes of the old world. In the current system, your home is often your biggest prison, a liability that requires a lifetime of labor to pay off. To be free, we must move from ownership, which is controlled by banks, to stewardship, which is controlled by you. 1. Stewardship versus ownership, reclaiming space. The old Earth was built on the distortion of land hoarding. Banks own more space than people can use, while others sleep on the streets. The empty space fact. In almost every major city, there are more empty bank-owned buildings than there are people without homes. The reality of the crash. As the digital financial ledgers fail in 2026, the banks lose their legal grip on these spaces. Stewardship means that those who care for the land and the building are the ones who have the right to be there. 2. Ecologic. Houses that breathe. We have been forced into boxes of concrete and steel that are expensive to heat and cool. The new Earth uses living structures that work with nature, not against it. The materials. We are moving toward hempcrete, which is carbon negative and stronger than concrete, and 3D printed clay. The Earthship concept. Imagine a home built with recycled materials and earth that regulates its own temperature. It doesn't need an air conditioner because the ground keeps it cool in summer and warm in winter. The vertical garden. Every wall is a producer. Using simple hydroponic or living wall systems, your house grows your salads and herbs automatically. 3. The decentralized utility revolution. The grid was designed for control. If you can't pay the bill, they turn off your water and light. In the new Earth, the grid is local and autonomous. The solar skin technology. We are moving past heavy glass panels. New technology allows for solar paint or skins that can be applied to any surface, your roof, your walls, even your windows, to collect energy from the sun. The neighborhood grid. Every house in a neighborhood becomes its own power station. How it works. Instead of one giant power plant, every home collects its own energy using solar skins and small magnetic generators. If one house has a surplus, it automatically shares it with the neighbor's house. No meters, no bills. Because the energy is collected locally from the sun and the Earth's magnetic field, there is no one to pay. The energy is a shared resource like the air we breathe. 4. Applying this today. Easy steps for everyone. You don't need to build a new house to start your journey to sovereignty. You can begin disconnecting your leash right now. Capture your own water. Start with a simple rain barrel. Collecting rainwater for your garden or for washing is the first step in breaking the water leash. The thermal blanket. Use heavy curtains or natural insulation, like wool or hemp, to reduce your dependence on the heating/cooling grid. Every degree you save is energy you don't have to buy from the controllers. Build community trust. Start a toolshed library with your neighbors. You don't all need to own a lawnmower, a drill, and a ladder. Sharing resources is the beginning of the neighborhood grid. The result: a living sanctuary. When your home produces its own energy, collects its own water, and grows its own food, you are no longer a mule hauling for the bank. You are a sovereign steward. You stay in your home because you love it, not because you are afraid of losing it. Chapter 7. Free Earth Energy and the Magnetic Highway. This is the chapter that returns power to the people. We do not need to burn the earth to power our lives. The proof of Nikola Tesla. In 1901, Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower proved that energy could be pulled from the ether, the ionosphere, and transmitted wirelessly. The fact: J.P. Morgan stopped the project because he couldn't put a meter on it. The magnetic motor. By using toroidal coils, the donut shape of the universe, we can create self-sustaining magnetic motors. These motors don't create energy, They collect the spin of the Earth. Travel by frequency. Old Earth travel uses explosion, combustion. New Earth travel uses resonance. By matching the frequency of a craft to the local gravitational field, the craft becomes weightless. We will glide across the planet's magnetic lines in silent, high-speed crafts that require zero fuel. We have been conditioned to believe that energy is a commodity that must be mined, burned, and paid for by the kilowatt hour. This is the greatest deception of the old Earth. We do not need to burn the planet to power our lives. We are living in a sea of energy. We simply need to learn how to plug in. The proof, the legacy of Nikola Tesla. In 1901, Nikola Tesla began construction on the Wardenclyffe Tower. His goal was not just to send radio signals, but to provide free, wireless electricity to the entire world by tapping into the ionosphere, the ether. The historical fact: Tesla's primary financier, J.P. Morgan, withdrew his funding when he realized that wireless energy could not be monitored or billed. He famously asked, "If anyone can draw on the power, where do we put the meter?" The result: the tower was demolished and humanity was forced into a 120-year combustion loop of coal, oil, and gas. The technology: the magnetic motor and toroidal coils. Energy is never created, it is collected. The Earth is a giant magnet spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. This spin generates an infinite field of electromagnetic energy. The toroidal coil. The torus, a donut shape, is the fundamental geometry of the universe, seen in everything from the shape of a galaxy to the magnetic field of your own heart. How it works. By winding copper wire into a specific toroidal pattern, we create a vortex. This vortex acts like a pump, drawing in the ambient magnetic energy from the Earth's spin. The proof for everyone. Think of a wind turbine. It doesn't make wind, it catches the wind that is already there. A magnetic motor does the same with the Earth's magnetic field. It provides clean, constant, and cost-free power 24/7. The future. Travel by frequency and resonance. Old Earth travel is based on explosion, internal combustion. We burn fuel to fight against gravity and friction. It is loud, dirty, and inefficient. New Earth travel is based on resonance. The science of resonance. Every object has a resonant frequency. When you match that frequency, you gain control over the object's mass. The weightless craft. By using electromagnetic coils to match the frequency of the local gravitational field, a craft becomes neutral to gravity. It doesn't fly, it simply exists in a state of weightlessness. The magnetic highway. The Earth is covered in ley lines, natural rivers of magnetic energy. In the new Earth, our crafts will glide along these lines in total silence, requiring zero fuel and producing zero emissions. Applying this today. How to start the transition. You don't need a laboratory to start moving toward free energy. You can start by changing your relationship with the grid right now. 1. Decentralize your life. Stop thinking of yourself as a user and start thinking as a generator. The action. Invest in portable autonomy. Even a small solar setup with a battery bank is a mini Tesla system. It proves you can harvest energy directly from the sun without a middleman. 2. Learn the language of frequency. The more you understand how magnets and copper work, the less the old system can lie to you. The action. Watch open-source energy tutorials online. There is a massive community of sovereign engineers sharing blueprints for magnetic heaters and motors that the mainstream media ignores. 3. Support the unmetered future. Whenever you choose a technology that doesn't require a subscription or a plug into the central grid, you are voting for the new Earth. The action. Follow and subscribe to channels that demonstrate Invention Secrecy Act alternatives. Awareness is the first step toward the energy jubilee. The grand result. Total freedom. When energy is free, the cost of living drops to near zero. Without a power bill, a gas bill, or a fuel bill, the labor loop disappears. You no longer have to work 40 hours a week just to keep the lights on. Free energy is the key to free time. And free time is the foundation of the gardening civilization. Chapter 8. The Awakening of Human Magic. What we call magic is simply human potential that has been suppressed by a low-frequency environment. Activating the bioelectric suit. The human body is a biological computer capable of incredible feats. Telepathy. When the heart and brain are in coherence, we can transmit and receive information across any distance. Lies become impossible in a world of love. Manifestation. This is the science of collapsing the wave function. By holding a feeling in the heart as if it is already real, the ether, the field of all possibilities, must manifest it in the physical world. The proof. We already see this in the placebo effect, where the mind heals the body through pure belief. In the new earth, this becomes a conscious tool. When we speak about magic in the context of the new earth, we aren't talking about stage tricks. We are talking about advanced human biophysics. For centuries, this software has been suppressed by the old system because a human who can manifest their own reality cannot be controlled by a bank or a government. Here is the breakdown of the magic you are currently unlocking as the old frequency fades. 1. Manifestation, the science of collapsing the wave function. In the old world, we were taught that seeing is believing. In the new earth, believing is seeing. The fact, quantum physics shows that subatomic particles exist in a state of probability, waves, until they are observed. This is called the observer effect. The magic. By holding a specific feeling in your heart, gratitude, abundance, peace, you act as the observer. You literally pull a specific outcome out of the infinite field of possibilities and lock it into physical reality. The result, you stop hoping for things and start commanding them through your frequency. 2. Heart-brain coherence, the internal antenna. The human body is an electromagnetic broadcasting station. Most people have static on their line because their heart and brain are out of sync. The proof, the HeartMath Institute has documented that the heart's electromagnetic field is 60 times stronger than the brain's. When you align your thoughts, brain, with your emotions, heart, you create a coherence that can be measured several feet away from your body. The magic, this coherence allows for telepathy and intuition. You begin to know things before they happen because you are tapped into the local Wi-Fi of the universe, the ether. The result, lies become impossible. In a world of love and coherence, you can feel the frequency of another person's heart, making deception a thing of the past. 3. Cellular regeneration, rewriting the biocode. We have been programmed to believe that aging and disease are inevitable bugs in our system. The fact, the placebo effect is the scientific proof that a human mind can cure stage 4 cancer or regrow tissue simply by believing the healing has already happened. The magic. In the new earth, we use the master key of frequency to talk to our cells. By removing the survival stress of the old world, your DNA naturally shifts from protection mode to growth mode. The result, longevity. The human body is designed to last hundreds of years when it isn't being poisoned by the beta frequency of fear and toxic environments. 4. Telekinesis and matter manipulation, resonance tuning. Everything that looks solid, a table, a car, a wall, is actually just energy vibrating at a specific speed. The proof, cymatics shows that sound frequencies can organize matter into perfect geometric patterns. The magic. By matching your internal vibration to the resonant frequency of an object, you can influence its weight and density. This is how the megaliths of the past, pyramids, Stonehenge, were actually moved, not by muscle, but by sound and resonance. The result, construction and creation become silent and effortless. We will build with the earth, not against it. Chapter 9. The Bridge, a practical exit strategy. The transition to a new way of living does not require a sudden leap into the unknown. It requires a strategic migration of your energy. Most people feel trapped because they are playing by the old world rules. This chapter is the manual for changing those rules and building a bridge to autonomy while you are still working within the current system. 1. Financial sovereignty, stopping the energy drain. The old system is a vampire that stays alive through your interest payments. To build a bridge, you must first stop the leak of your life force. The strategy: utilize consumer protection and financial hardship protocols. The how-to: almost every major banking and credit institution has hardship clauses. If you are feeling the weight of inflation or systemic glitches, contact your providers. Legally request a freeze on interest or a restructuring of payments based on current global economic instability. The result: this is not about avoiding debt. It is about freezing the drain. Every dollar you stop paying in interest is a dollar you can use to buy seeds, tools, or solar equipment. You are taking your power back from the bank's ledger and putting it into your own hands. 2. The producer protocol, converting your home. In the current system, your home is a liability. It costs you money. To exit, you must turn it into a life support system. It produces value. The strategy: implement zero-waste regeneration. The how-to: food. Don't throw away food scraps. The bases of green onions, celery, lettuce, and mini herbs will regrow indefinitely in a simple jar of water on a windowsill. Medicine: start a windowsill apothecary. Growing basic plants like aloe vera, peppermint, or lemon balm provides immediate, free remedies for common ailments, reducing your dependence on corporate pharmacies. The result: even a 5% reduction in what you need to buy creates a massive shift in your frequency. You move from being a consumer dependent to a producer sovereign. 3. The skill swap, the trust-based mesh network. Money was designed as a middleman to take a cut of every human interaction. You can bypass the middleman by returning to direct human value. The strategy: build a local mesh network. The how-to: look at the people in your immediate circle or neighborhood. Identify their creator skills, gardening, sewing, cooking, and offer your maintenance skills, fixing, cleaning, organizing, or transporting. The result: when you trade a bag of homegrown vegetables for a car repair or a plumbing fix, no bank is involved. No digital ledger tracks the trade and no interest is charged. This is a shadow economy based on trust, and it is the foundation of the new earth. 4. Frequency hygiene, guarding the gate of attention. Your attention is the most valuable currency in existence. The system stays alive by harvesting your fear through your screens. The strategy: the digital fast. The how-to: audit your feed. Unfollow every social media account or news outlet that uses fear-based language: war, collapse, disease. The information diet: replace 30 minutes of news with 30 minutes of sovereign learning. Watch tutorials on permaculture, solar energy, or mechanical repair. The result: when you stop feeding the old world your attention, it loses its power to frighten you. Your mind clears, your stress levels drop, and you finally have the mental space to see the exit door that was always there. Conclusion: the quiet rebellion. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow to be free. You start the rebellion in the quiet moments, in the way you handle your bank, the way you grow your food, and the people you choose to trust. The hardware for a free life is already in your hands. By following these steps, you are initiating the software update that makes the old system's control impossible. You are no longer a mule for a dying empire. You are the architect of your own sovereign domain.
Chapter 10. The choice for sovereign humanity. We stand at the most significant crossroads in the history of the human species. Behind us lies the old Earth, a landscape defined by the friction of debt, the labor loop, and an artificial scarcity engineered by a central few. Before us lies the new Earth, a gardening civilization where energy is abundant, health is inherent, and love is the primary currency of exchange. The Great Remembering. The new Earth is not a fantasy or a futuristic dream. It is a restoration. We are not inventing a new way to live. We are remembering how we were always designed to exist. The proof in nature. The forest does not ask for a permit to grow. The sun does not send a monthly bill for its light. Nature operates on a surplus model of infinite expansion. The proof in physics. The universe is not a vacuum. It is a sea of energy. We have simply discovered the pumps, through magnetic resonance and toroidal coils, to finally access it. The proof in you. That physical allergy you feel toward the 9-to-5 grind is not a flaw. It is your DNA recognizing a frequency mismatch. Your yearning for the trees, the lake, and true connection is your biological compass pointing toward home. The crash is a graduation. The collapse of global banks, the fading of centralized governments, and the exposure of the controllers should not be met with fear. Think of the caterpillar. To become a butterfly, it must undergo a total systemic crash. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillar's old structure literally dissolves into a liquid state before it reorganizes into a higher form. We are currently in the cocoon. The old structures are dissolving because they can no longer hold the weight of our expanding consciousness. The crash is not the end of the world. It is the birth of the next one. Final instructions. Becoming the anchor. To live in the new world, you must stop feeding the old one. You bring the power back to humanity by changing your daily habits starting tonight. These steps are easy, practical, and available to everyone. 1. Withdraw your consent. Stop identifying as a mule or a cog. Words have frequency. When you say, "I have to go to the grind," you lock yourself in the loop. The action. Every time you choose peace over panic, you starve the old system of its fuel. When a fear-based news story breaks, breathe and remain neutral. Your calm is a weapon against the simulation. 2. Plant the seeds. The mesh protocol. The system cannot control a person who is not dependent on it. The action. Physically, grow what you can, even if it's just herbs in a windowsill. Metaphorically, build your community mesh. Talk to your neighbors. Share your skills, fixing, building, teaching, without involving a bank. A man who has his own water, his own energy, and a neighbor who loves him is ungovernable. 3. Hold the frequency, the stillness download. You are a biological antenna. The action. Continue your daily stillness. In that deep silence, you aren't just relaxing, you are downloading the blueprints for the new machines, the gardens, and the magic of the next 1,000 years. You are anchoring the new frequency into the soil of the earth. The blink of an eye. The big surprise is that this transition does not have to take lifetimes. The hardware, the free energy technology and decentralized networks, is already here. We are simply waiting for the software update in the human heart. When a critical mass of people says yes to love and no to the struggle, the world will change in the blink of an eye. The simulation will drop, and the real world will remain. Welcome to the new Earth. The choice is yours. Final call to action. If this message resonates with your soul, it is because you are part of the update. Do not let the old world pull you back into the loop. Follow the journey. Join our community as we build the blueprints for the new Earth. Subscribe. Stay connected to the high-frequency updates that the mainstream media is afraid to broadcast. Share. Give the exit key to someone else who is still hauling the debt cargo. We are the ones we have been waiting for. See you in the stillness.